Okay, so I just wanted to show you how you can kind of simplify the lines in your photo reference to make it easier to begin your drawing in one-point perspective. So what I'm going to do is start off with my rectangle tool, and if you have Microsoft Word, you're more than welcome to do this. If you want to, you can also print out this image and use a ruler and a pencil to outline these lines, so totally up to you. You don't have to do this, but it is a great way to kind of double check your drawing to make sure that things are accurate. So I'm going to draw a rectangle here, and I'm putting it in all kind of four corners of this room to show where the back wall of my room is. Okay, and then to find the center of this rectangle, and this applies to pretty much anything that you need to find the center of, you can use diagonal lines to create an X, and that will show you where center is. Okay, so I've gone from the upper left corner down to the bottom right corner, and I'll do the same thing, upper right corner down to the bottom left corner. And with this intersection here is our vanishing point. So because we're drawing in one-point perspective, we always need to know where that vanishing point is. And all of our projection lines or our orthogonals should always go back to this point. Okay, we don't want things going off to any other direction, because that will skew your perspective. It'll be incorrect. Okay, so now that I have my back wall set up and I have my vanishing point, I can go ahead and extend out these projection lines, and you'll notice that they should pretty much line up with the lines that we have in the center. I'll do this one down here, this one, like that, and then this one. Okay, so we have successfully divided up our room. So you can kind of think of this as our, just a larger version of our cube. So let's say we've got our square here, and then let's just say we have our vanishing point there. So I'm going to connect all four of my corners back to this vanishing point, like so. Okay, so I've got kind of the front part of my square happening, and we need to define the rest of the sides. So I'm just going to pick kind of an area back here to draw in that back line, and then wherever that line hits these projection lines, so this is our transversal line, where it hits those projection lines, I'm going to draw that up until I reach the top projection line. Same thing on this side, like so, and then I'll connect these two across, and that will give us our completed square. Okay, so you can see, similar to the bedroom that we've got here, so you can imagine that, you know, the bed, let me use this one. Oops. Like that. Just kind of do this quickly so you can see where the bed fits in here. Okay, so say that this is our bed that we've got in here. So the way that we're kind of viewing this within the cube in a larger version is the same thing. So this would be the top of our cube, right side of our cube, left side of our cube, bottom of our cube, and then the back of our cube. And we technically don't really have the front of the cube since you're looking directly into the room. So hopefully that helps you kind of figure things out. So it's a really great way to make sure things are accurately in perspective. Okay. So now what we can do, that we have this drawn out in perspective, we have our vanishing point, is we can kind of start to focus on the relationship of our objects in regards to that vanishing point. So I've got this windowsill here, and you'll see anything that is kind of on like the right wall or the left wall. Any objects that are kind of out below too should have a diagonal projection line. So I've got one here, and then I also have one that goes here. So notice those projection lines are always going back to this vanishing point. And then I would have a vertical line along this side to complete the window. And I can make this a little bit bigger so it's easier to see now. Like so. Like that. So that would be the shape of our window in 1-point perspective. For the back side of the wall, since we're looking at it straight on, these windows are just going to stay kind of perfectly rectangular. They're not going to have any angles on them. Okay, and you should be able to notice kind of this 90-degree angle. So make sure that as you're kind of looking at those relationships, so the front of this would also be straight lines, so a 90-degree angle. Okay, for our side table here, we go to a smaller one. I can see that diagonal line. So again, if I'm seeing a diagonal line, that means that it's going back to the vanishing point. Same thing with this corner, like that. And then I have my straight lines. I make this bigger. So we'll just say probably ends about here. Direct this across like that. Bring this one down. I don't know why this is turning orange and not blue, but that's okay. Okay, so you can see that we're starting with something, you know, even though this is three-dimensional, we're starting with that cube shape or that rectangle. And then we can go follow those projection lines to take that back. And then connect the back side of it, like so. And then we will connect that back to the vanishing point, and then do that back side, like so. So that would be essentially the simplified version of that dresser. And because it's obviously behind the bed in 1-point perspective, we would only really need to focus on this part, so we would eventually end up erasing this. But you want to kind of put in all of your three-dimensional forms first, really lightly, and then you can erase the parts that you don't need anymore, right? So with this bed frame, let's do a different color. Let's do green. So this bed frame would go back to here, or mattress rather. So it would kind of be this shape. And again, you kind of have to imagine it with this headboard not being in the way. So that mattress would be probably a little bit longer. This shape, right? And then you could go in and erase. Let's just pretend like it's not erasing the actual picture here. But you would erase those lines that you no longer need. So then you'd just have a really nice dresser on the side, and then with your mattress overlapping it on top. And then last one I'll show you is the kind of the bathroom vanity here. So again, we've got a diagonal line, so we know it's diagonal, so it goes back to the vanishing point. So do the same thing along this side, and we'll again just kind of draw this like the door's not there. And then I will draw my horizontal transversal across, straight line down, another straight line down, also known as vertical, and then across this way, all the way across. Okay, then I'll do my other diagonal line, like so. pre-highlight these guys here. Let's see. Like that. And then finish the rectangle. Okay, so that would be kind of that cabinet drawn in perspective. So hopefully this helps. You can see that it starts to get a little, not a little, but quite messy with all of these lines. That's why it's going to be really, really important when you start sketching this to use a very, very light pencil. Okay, so using your 2H pencil. Yeah, and that's why you should, you'll want to be able to erase those lines. Because if you're drawing really heavy-handedly, it's going to be hard to erase those lines and you'll get even more confused. So keep it clean, keep it neat, and then try to break down those larger objects into really simplified shapes. So whether it's a cube, a pyramid, a cone, cylinder, try to really simplify them. Okay, so hopefully that helps.